The Chicago Bears just embarrassed themselves versus the Green Bay Packers with 38-20 loss. We're going to discuss what kind of caused that loss. And then once again, I have to address the so-called Bears expert podcasters, media people, whatever. It's time that somebody finally, I continue to say it, but it's time that somebody finally kind of put them in their place again. Um, like and subscribe to YouTube channel, follow Ray on Apple and iTunes. Um, check out all the affiliate description below. This is part of the Coach Steve show. This is our Bear Down segment that talks about Chicago Bears. Usually it's me and Zach Kyleman on here, but Zach Kyleman, it's hard to get our schedules in order, but he'll hop on from time to time. But for right now, it's just me. The Bears got embarrassed at home versus the Green Bay Packers without Aaron Rodgers, and they lose 38-20. I would say overall, going back and watching the condensed version of the game where you just get the plays instead of the full game, the Bears, there was moments that they looked pretty good. And again, this is pre-recorded where I don't have the all 2022 film, which I will be getting as soon as it's out, and be able to really dissect and look at the Chicago Bears and exactly what caused the loss, and things I'm about to say we could justify or get proven wrong. I thought the first half there was some mistakes, but I thought the Chicago Bears, for the most part, they played okay. They had some big hits on defense. I thought that the offense moved the ball okay. It wasn't going the way we all thought it would, but for the most part, there were some good runs. Justin Fields made a couple good short passes. The defense did kind of its thing. You started to see little concerns in the first half with getting quarterback pressure on Jordan Love and picking apart of certain parts of their zone. And it's part of the run defense, but it was the second half where the Green Bay Packers scored 28 points in the second half, 14 in the third, and 14th in the fourth. The Bears offense couldn't really get anything going consistently. There was a lot of screens being called that people were complaining about. Jordan Love played well. He was at 15 of 27, 245 yards and 3 touchdowns. Aaron Jones had a rushing touchdown, and he also had a receiving touchdown. Um, the Packers looked pretty good. Their offensive line held up. I love the way they are running wide zone. On play action, they would keep 6 in to protect and then peel out, and they gave Jordan Love time to throw the football. He just looked poised. He looked like a guy that's been doing it for a while, and it's the curse of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, where if he continues to do well this season, it's going to be that curse towards Bears fans because how in the world do you get so many years with Brett Favre, so many years with Aaron Rodgers. Now, did you find a diamond in the rough here with Jordan Love? And Matt Eberflus is going to be one of the best coaches ever to be able to coach the way he did with Aaron Rodgers and coach now the way he did with Jordan Love. Um, you know, it's just a pain. But I also thought that the Packers defensive line and the entire defense played really tough. Maybe they're better than what we all were thinking. And that's part of the thing with these Bears expert podcasters. Maybe the Packers are better than what we thought they were. Now, I don't think they're some powerhouse offense. I just think that there was that many problems with the Bears defense. I did not think they did not get pressure very often on Jordan Love. And that was the situation last year that we thought with the Bears. They ranked, I think, last in sacks and quarterback pressures. They could just never dial up enough pressure. And they have 4 defensive linemen. They play a 4-3, 4-2-5 defense. They just never created that much pressure for Jordan Love. I don't even know if we got a sack on him, but they just could not move. They couldn't. They got one sack. Um, he averaged 9.1 yards per pass. We gave up 92 rushing yards, so the rush defense got a little bit better. But the overall creating pressure did not. We just didn't, and that was the big question mark for the Bears last year coming into this year. That they did sign some defensive linemen. They got guys that should be able to create pressure, and it just didn't happen yet on Sunday versus the Packers. It just never did. Um, that was a big concern, and then The linebacker play was not up to par, in my opinion. Again, I have to get the film, but from the game and watching it in the condensed form, they just did not play the way they needed to. And then they just played a lot of zone defense and they were able to pick apart. And again, Jordan Love just had time to pass the ball. The wide receivers made great catches. There was that one hard slant into there for a touchdown, I believe, to Aaron Jones. And the Bears just weren't there and didn't rally. And then as the second half wore on, you hear a lot of the Bears experts talk about there was no energy, there was no effort. And I think there was times that there wasn't. But I also don't believe that fully because it is a rivalry game. It is the Bears and the Packers. I just think it was more they were frustrated with what was going on, and that just affected their play. If you get super frustrated, especially in football, a couple things are going to happen. It's going to go positive one way, and you're able to, manifest that and play the right way, or it's going to be like what happened to the Bears, where just things continue to go wrong, and that's kind of what happened for defense. And maybe the Packers are better than we thought, but it has some receivers that you don't really hear about. Aaron Jones had 86 yards receiving. AJ Dillon had 17. Luke Musgrave had 50. Jaden Reed had 48. So they just passed the ball around a little bit. So maybe the Packers offense is much better, or the Bears defense is still kind of figuring itself out and rebuilding. And, and I'm going to discuss the whole big picture of that after I go on my next rants. The Bears offense, Justin Fields, 24 of 37, 216 yards, touchdown, interception. He got sacked 4 times. He was also the Bears' leading rusher with 59 yards. Khalil Herbert, 27. Johnson with 20. Foreman only with 16. Darnell Mooney, 4 catches, 53 yards. Cole Kmet, 5 receptions, 44 yards. Khalil Herbert, 37 yards. Johnson, 35 yards. DJ Moore, 25 yards. Tyler Scott, 14 yards. Foreman, 8 yards. Chase Claypool, no yards. So offensively, for rushing, there was 29 attempts. 9 of those were Justin Fields, whether you count those as scrambles, but actually handing the ball off, like I said, Khalil Herbert, 9. Johnson, 5. Foreman, 5. Cole Kmet got a carry. That was a quarterback sneak that did not work. The offense did not look good. The pass game was hit or miss. I thought at the beginning and that first half and a little bit of the second half, but mainly the short passing game was there. I thought he was accurate in those situations to the running back. I thought those were effective. We'll get to all that here in a second. The run game was not where it needed to be. I thought that the offensive line was probably 60%, 65% okay. Again, so the pass protection. People were complaining about the O-line once again. Not saying they played perfect. Not saying they're the best offensive line that we see in the NFL. My thing is people already were blaming the O-line, saying, well, he doesn't have time. But also, he holds on to the ball for a very long time. And we're just going to get into it. I am sick and tired of listening to CHGO podcast with Adam Hogue and Carm and this Braggs guy and everybody else. I'm tired of listening to 670 and those guys talk about the Bears offense and everything else. Here's some things that we still need to remember overall for the Chicago Bears. We were the worst team in the NFL last year, winning 3 games. People already are putting them, they talked about in the offseason, the CHGO guys, the 670 guys. They said that with this roster and who we have, we could win the NFC North because of how wide open it is. And then after this game, then you start to hear everything else against what they were saying. Stick to what you're saying if that's what you're going to say. Quit flip-flopping back and forth. That's what CHGO does. That's what Adam Hogue does. That's what they all do. 670 guys, that's what they all do. They speak into a microphone just like this, spew this stuff all off season, all last season, and then they'll flip flop on what they're saying because they get proven wrong instead of saying, yeah, you know what, I was wrong. No, they just flip flop. They flip flop because they talk about how great Justin Fields is. They got to open it up. We got to pass here. We got to pass here. Well, then they're complaining now about, while Justin Fields didn't take deep shots. He only threw under routes. He only threw these things. Until we get the film, we cannot sit here and say one way or the other, because when you watch a game on TV, you can't see everything else. And we don't know the pass plays. We don't know his progression reads. Then it was reported in off-season training camp that he was not throwing it deep downfield. Do you know what this tells me? It tells me that there's a couple things. One, are they worried about the pass protection? My opinion, there was times the pass protection broke down, but also in my opinion, he had a pocket. He holds onto the ball too long. But the Twitter experts will put on there and say, show a picture of these guys in his face as he's throwing the football, saying, well, how is he supposed to do anything if a guy's in his face? Guess what, buddy? It's football. It's the NFL. You're not going to have a pocket for 6 seconds. This is not college football where he could possibly have that. This is not him at Ohio State with 2 or 3 top 3-round pick offensive linemen and wide receivers. That's not what this is. This is not Ohio State where he has 2 running backs behind him that average 120 yards per game. That's a fact. Go look it up. I'm sick and tired of listening to CHGO and all. It's hard. I listen to it to see if they've changed. I listen to it to 670 and see if they change their tune, see what they're saying. Not saying they have to bash on Justin Fields all the time. Not saying they have to do this, but I want to hear. I want everybody to be blamed. I want the O-line blamed. I want the quarterback blamed. I want the wide receivers blamed. I want the defense blamed. I want the coaching staff blamed, because they all deserve blame. But now last year it was the offensive line's fault. Then it started to go down to the wide receivers' fault. Then it was play calling's fault. This game, it's offensive line's fault. And Luke Getsy doesn't know what he's doing at all on offense whatsoever. What in the world is he calling? Until we get the film and see, we really don't know. But doesn't it make you wonder where some of the plays, there's 3 to 4 second pass protection and Justin Fields drops it off to the running back? Is it all possible that the Green Bay defense played good defense? That's quite possible. We won't know till we get the film, or you were there at the box till you see the whole field. We really don't know. That's possible. The other possibility is, Justin Fields is not always accurate when it comes to throwing the deep ball. That's weird. So maybe, just maybe, they're not fully trusting him to do that. That's weird. I wonder who told everybody that. Oh, wait. Me and Coach West on an episode here that you can go find when they first drafted him. Oh, well, I watched him at Ohio State. Okay, I had the all 2022 film of him. I watched him overthrow posts. I watched him make the wrong reads on certain RPOs. Yeah. Now, is he electric? Absolutely. Is he athletic? Absolutely. Can he make plays? Absolutely. Is there times he makes really, really good throws? Absolutely. But I've said this over and over and over again. The way Justin Fields can be successful is you have to be able to run the football, because once he can't handle all that pressure. Once the pressure is taken off of him, when you've got some sort of run game, that's going to help him feel more comfortable to be able to pass. Also, it has to be play action, quick RPOs. And I know the NFL is different than college. They only get a yard for linemen. That's where he makes his money. He makes money by you rolling him out and giving him 1 to 2 people to look at to throw the football. It's 1-2 takeoff. 1-2 takeoff, or you have the running back out to an arrow route, like a flood concept where they're running an arrow route, get rid of the ball. That's how he makes his money. Jet play action stuff to get rid of the ball quick. Screen games help him. He has to see himself complete the football. That's what it is. But fans, CHGO, those guys, 670, I believe in the Sean Payton rule of you take 2 shots a quarter. That's just what you do. Some don't believe in that because they're really worried about maybe that person turning the ball over. That's quite possible. But we want these deep balls thrown to DJ Moore, thinking he's going to come down with every single one of them. I'm not saying he wouldn't come down with any. I like DJ Moore. He's a great wide receiver. It's been proven time and time again. They have to figure out ways to get him the football in the short game, but he's going to draw more attention. So when he gets more attention drawn to himself, Darnell Mooney gets 4 catches. Cole Kmet gets 5 catches out of the backfield. Khalil Herbert gets 3 catches. You see what I'm saying? Because he's drawing more attention to himself. Then eventually you could take that shot. But also, if your defense isn't doing what it needs to do, you get down, you're forced in those different types of play calls instead of getting the run game going. This is what it turns into. But you still have people like at CHGO and Adam Hoke, Carm, and Braggs and these people talking about, well, they're doing things with Justin Fields, like he can do these things, and they're not doing it. It's the play caller's fault and everything else. Sorry, I didn't know you were an NFL play caller. I didn't even know some of you guys could even play call in high school. Like, I know Hogue, he coaches high school football, but are the rest of you, oh, you played. Okay. Have you coached? Have you actually sat in coaches' meeting rooms of college, high school? Have you actually thought about what play calling looks like? Have you, I know you watch training camp, but are you there afterwards? Are you there in the summers? The coaches get to see what they work with and understand what they're doing. I'm not saying they're doing anything perfect. We certainly, as coaches, never do anything perfect, but we can't sit here and always speculate, well, they're not doing this, not doing this. Then you listen to 670. I can't remember the people, I don't care. Spiegel and whoever say Justin Fields he's really good running the football, and you only call one run play for him. Look at Lamar Jackson. Look at the money he's getting paid. Look what he does, blah, 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 blah. You need to run him more. That's one of the most idiotic things I have heard. A running quarterback is successful in college and wins a lot of games in college because that's the type of offense you can run in college. Jalen Hurts can move, but he's able to pass the ball and they're able to run the football. They talk about Lamar Jackson. He's getting paid because who else are the Baltimore Ravens were they going to go get? Yeah, you can still run. It's not good for the quarterback in the NFL to run all the time. Do we not remember last year when he was running all the time, whether it was design runs, he was running out of the pocket, and it was Atlanta Falcons. He was running. He started to limp because his thighs were hurting. He had to sit out of a game because of his thighs. 17-game season's a long time. And if you want to run him 6 to 10 times a game on top of any time he will scramble out of the pocket, that's a lot of hits. That's a lot of running. You're not going to win very many games doing that. They said they're coaching the Justin Fields out of him. What does that mean? Because they want him to be able to pass the football and be in the pocket? Yeah, that maybe they need to run him once or twice, maybe. Or they can say, okay, in order to be successful, you have to be able to pass. But if everything breaks down, you're able to take off, and that will help you, especially if you try to go get out of bounds. We cannot expect him to run over and over and over again. We also can't sit here and say that he never has a pocket because people don't understand this. Pocket, someone can get beat, but if the linemen stay with that guy, he's got to shift over to one side. The pocket can now move and feel, but he wants to run. He wants to hold on to the football too long because in the back of his mind, you're going to do muscle memory and do what you know. He knows to take off. That's what he did in college. That's what he is done in the NFL right now. They are trying to coach that out of him because in order to be successful, you've got to be able to move, but move with your eyes downfield, able to make a pass. Aaron Rodgers can move out of the pocket. He can run, but he's able to throw it downfield. Those type of guys is what they want Justin Fields to be. And so we haven't heard much reports of these huge steps taken in offseason, in training camp. Yesterday, during the game, I didn't really see those steps forward. Besides the short game, I thought the short game looked fine. He was poised there. But, the CHGO people, the 670, they flip-flop all the time. They want him to be so good, so bad, and it might come from being a Bears fandom, and that's fine. I would love for him to be good because I'm a Bears fan. I know it doesn't sound like it, but it's people like that that make you want to not be a Bears fan because they're talking about how we're going to win the NFC North. Excuse me. I even said depends how good Green Bay is. Detroit Lions are pretty good. And I know Minnesota lost, but they still got some weapons. It's wide open. But also another thing we have to remember, we were the worst team in the NFL last year. Are we really going to make that big turnaround this year? I mean, on paper, it shows that way, but that's why we don't play the game on paper. They play the game on the field. They have to perform. They have to coach. And also remember, we don't have a lot of depth in certain positions. and we're not fully there. Yeah, we got some weapons on offense. We need Justin Fields to take that next step forward. You got a little bit of pieces on defense. There's not a lot of depth there. They still have to retool the offensive line. They weren't healthy coming into the game either. But we got to stop saying it's just Justin Fields. It's just the offensive line. It's got to be everybody. But CHGO, 670, they're going to put the blame on play calling, everything around Justin Fields. They'll make a comment saying, oh, he didn't play well, but they're not going to put any blame on him because they're going to say, well, blah, 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 whatever the reason is. It's just got to stop. We have to sit here and accept that the Bears are still rebuilding. Hopefully, as it goes on, they can slowly start to figure it out. Different styles of pass protection. If the line starts to become a lot healthy, start to do those things. They get the run game going, they get some confidence because everything else, it will start to fall into place and hopefully they can just compete. We can't just sit here and say win, 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 win. You have to trust the process and compete and be put into a situation to win. And that's what they need to do. But I'm sick and tired of listening to all those other guys. And so that's kind of how they lost. I thought the Packers played well. The Bears just didn't execute on some plays. Yes, I don't think they took certain shots, but I'm curious to see if there was some shots. There is a clip of them running a flood concept that Justin Fields does not get the ball to, and he runs out of the pocket when he doesn't have to. Oh, shocker. He does that all the time. But that's the rant. That's the recap of this Green Bay Bears game. They have to be able to compete and put themselves in position to win next week. If not, they got to play Kansas City. So you're looking at 0-3 right off the bat. And it is drawing me. It makes me not want to be a Bears fan listening to a lot of these experts. And the fact that these experts won't have me or Zach on when I've tried to be on there and just say, hey, let's just have a conversation. Let's just see where I come from. You see where you guys come from. Maybe we can elaborate and then maybe you can make me understand where you are. But they don't. But that'll wrap up this episode. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Like and subscribe to YouTube channel. Go to the playlist and you'll see a Bear Down playlist segment with all the Bear stuff there. Check out all the affiliates in the description below. Leave a comment in the comment section down below as well. Thank you guys again for watching and or listening. This is Coach Steve, and we'll see you guys next time.